next one we are going to take a look at is AAS. So let's find that card. Okay, so AAS, hopefully you understand it now, stands for angle, side. So the difference between this one and angle, side, angle. Okay, notice on angle, side, angle, the side S is between the two angles. And angle, side, the side is not between the two angles. So let's see if we can find the picture here. So, you got it? Okay, so it looks like this one. So the reason that this one is angle, side, if I look at the picture, notice the side that's marked, which if I color it here in green, is this side between the two angles? No, so that's why it's angle, side. So again, the side is not between the two angles. So next, let's go ahead and see if we can find the writing with the statements and the given that would match with this one. So if I'm going to look at this, I'm thinking it's probably this one here. So if I double check it, I have angle O, bless you, congruent to angle A. That's what I had marked in yellow. I have segment AC, congruent to segment DO. That's the one I had color coordinated with green. And then I had angle T, congruent to angle G. I had marked that in pink. So again, if I was given these pieces, I could say these two triangles are congruent by angle, side. The last thing we're going to do, so I'm going to write angle, side in case I get them mixed up here. So the last thing we're going to do is find the wording that goes with this one. So I want two angles and a non-included side. So this one should be a little easier to find because we're using up cards. We don't have all of them to sort through anymore. So again, angle, side. If there exists a correspondence between the vertices of two triangles such that two angles and the non-included side are congruent to the corresponding parts of the other, then the two triangles are congruent. So these are the four note cards, or four cards you should have that go with angle, side. So once you have these four, you're going to tuck in the flap of your envelope again. And you're going to write angle, side on here and put these four cards in there. Angle, side. Okay, does everybody have the right four cards before I put them in there? Okay. So again, on the front, like I have before, I'm going to draw a picture of what angle, side looks like, just for quick reference. So again, it might look like angle, side. So notice the side is not between the two angles. And AAS, the S is not between the two A's, hence the angle, side concept. Some people get angle, side, angle, and angle, side confused. That's why I'm stressing the side is not between the two angles. It could also look like, let's do one with the vertical angles again. So it could look something like this. We could have an angle, and the side out here. So again, that's another possibility for angle, sides. The front of the envelope is supposed to be just quick reference of what it looks like if we need a quick refresher. Okay, so we have 2 to go. Okay, so next, process of elimination. If I said let's do false last, I am left with hypotenuse leg, HL. So if you would, please find the HL card. And I dropped one. That's why I can't find it. Here it is. So HL stands for hypotenuse leg. Okay, do you guys know what a hypotenuse is from a right triangle? Do we know what a right triangle is, first off? Okay, so on the top here, let's just do a quick review. So in a right triangle, the hypotenuse is the side across from the right angle. So this side, the longest one, would be the hypotenuse, and the other two sides that form the right angle are your legs. So that's why it can be called hypotenuse leg. So what you're going to know in this particular one, you have to have a right triangle to begin with. You're going to know the hypotenuse in each triangle is congruent, and you're going to have one of the legs, not both, but one of the legs congruent. So this is just quick reference if you're not sure what the hypotenuse is in a picture. Okay, did you find your missing card?
We only have 2 left, right?
I think there's 3 total. We'll figure it out. Okay, so we have this one. Okay, so let's find the picture that goes with it. So you're going to have a right triangle in them. So I have this one. Okay, key here is you got right angles. HL for hypotenuse leg. Okay, everybody see the right angle box at A and O? So A and O have the right angle box. Okay, we've got segment CT congruent to segment DG. You got 2 tick marks to show that. And you've got a pair of legs congruent, segment AC and segment DO. So again, this is HL hypotenuse leg. Okay, so let's see if we can find the given and the proof statement that match this. Okay, process of elimination, you don't have as many cards to look at. I have this one. What gave it away to me is that it says I have right angles. Okay, so if I'm going to color code it, I colored my right angles in green. Okay, I colored segment AC congruent to segment DO in pink. And I have segment CT and segment DG in yellow. So again, this is hypotenuse leg because these 2 segments, one represents the hypotenuse in the picture and the other represents the leg. So if I look for the wording on this one, this is the last set of, this is the last, bless you, wording we have because the last one we have is false. So it goes something like this. If there exists a correspondence between the vertices of 2 right triangles such that the hypotenuse and the leg of one triangle are congruent to the corresponding parts of the other, the 2 right triangles are congruent. So again, key words there are hypotenuse and leg. Okay, so once you have all 4 of those, you're going to take one of your 2 envelopes left. You're again going to tuck in the flap. And you're going to stick these 4 in your envelope. And on the front, I would recommend labeling it HL for hypotenuse leg. Okay, everybody have their 4? Yes. Okay, so we're going to tuck them in there. And then, like I said, on the front of the envelope, I would write down an example if I need to have a quick reference. So if I do something like this, so again, I've got to have right angles or right triangles. I'm going to have the hypotenuse congruent and then one of the legs. So again, hypotenuse and then leg. And if I need to, here's my little right angle. Okay, on the other side, maybe let's do one that looks like this. Okay, so we got the right angle here. We'd have the hypotenuse congruent and that shared leg in the middle. That's what hypotenuse leg could also look like. So again, just for a quick reference. Now, last but not least, process of elimination would say that the rest of my cards have to fall in the last category. One would assume, right? I only have one envelope left. Okay, so while some of you are finishing up, this last envelope is going to be the false category. So this one is going to represent ones that do not work. Triangles are not going to be congruent. So again, at this point, we've gone through 5 that do work. We're going to talk about what it looks like when they don't work. Okay, everybody good with this? Okay, so let's take a look at what we have left then. Obviously, we have the false category. Okay, so the pictures that don't work, there are 5 cards left. Everybody got 5 cards left? You got 2 pictures, 2 given statements, and obviously the false box. So you should have the false box. Okay, so let's take a look at these. This is what we have left. Okay, now, the reason why this one doesn't work is because this one refers to angle, angle, angle. There are no sides. Anytime you have angle, 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 that doesn't work, okay? What happens when you have angle, angle, angle is a dilation. And what is a dilation again?
It's not a rigid motion.
We'll say that again.
It's not a rigid motion.
It's not a rigid motion. Remember, in a dilation, one gets bigger and one gets smaller, or vice versa, right? They're not going to be congruent. They're going to be different sizes. So that's why angle, angle, angle does not work, okay? This one would again be angle, angle, angle because I have 3 pairs of angles listed. And again, if you have 3 pairs of angles, this one does not work. If you want to color code it, even though angle A is congruent to angle O, angle T is congruent to angle G, and then last but not least, angle C is congruent to angle D. Again, this does not work, so I'm going to put a slash. They are not congruent. Angle, angle, angle is not a method that works. Now, for the other one, I'm going to ask you to think a little immaturely for this one. Okay, now, this is not the reason this one doesn't work. But if we think about the abbreviations we use, like AAA for angle, 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 right? Everybody with me? Okay, this one, angle, side, side. Think in your head. What would you write down if you had angle, side, side? Everybody following me? ASS, okay. That's not why it doesn't work, okay? But if you are thinking you are going to write down ASS on your paper, doesn't work, okay? That is not a method to prove triangles congruent. The reason it doesn't work is you can actually have 2 different size triangles. That is why. So if you want to put down ASS and put an X through it that it doesn't work, I'm just going to be more politically correct and write down SSA. But again, that one does not work. If you have to think about what it spells, then make that work for you, okay? So you can either write down ASS or SSA, whichever you prefer. It does not work. So notice, do you see the difference between this picture and side angle side? Do you see how in side angle side the angle is between the 2 sides? And side side angle or angle side side, do you notice how this angle is not between the 2 sides? Do you see the difference? Okay, so I'm gonna ask you in a little bit, to make sure to identify what method it is. So if I'm gonna color code, AC is congruent to DO, angle T is congruent to angle G. And then last but not least, segment CT was congruent to segment DG. And again, angle side side does not work, so they are not congruent. Okay, so once you have all 4 of these, or 5 of these, sorry, you're going to put it in the last envelope. Okay, we're going to label this last envelope false. They are not congruent, so I'm going to put a congruent with a slash through it. And then I'm going to put these, obviously, in my envelope. Okay, so kind of shortcuts here. I'm going to put angle, 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 does not work. I'm going to put an X through it. I'm going to put side, side, angle, or you can write ASS for angle, side, side. It's up to you. Does not work. And then I'm going to draw a picture of each so you know what we're referencing to. So angle, angle, angle would look something like this. You'd have all 3 angles congruent, nothing about the sides. And then side, side, angle, or angle, side, side would look something like this. So again, if you're trying to reference back, have a quick picture, you could look at either one of those. Okay, so when you are done with this last envelope, then you're going to put these last 3 that we did, attach them to the right side of the page, just like we did on the left side. If you like some color coding, we can do a little color coding as well. So again, to recap, we have 5 methods used to prove triangles congruent. We have side, side, side. We have side, angle, side. We have angle, angle, side, angle, side, angle, and then last but not least, hypotenuse leg. So there are 5 that work.